From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business. There is no stopping people from traveling, despite the COVID-19 pandemic and a string of other diseases such as monkeypox. The country's top destinations are again hosting tourists far and near, taking advantage of borders wide open after more than 2 years of the health crisis. What is travel like in the new normal? To tell the world that it's still more fun and safe in the Philippines. And we look at how the aviation industry is buckling up for a smooth takeoff in our sweet vision. Back-to-back global recognitions for the Philippines this tourism month. The World Travel Awards named the country as Asia's leading dive and beach destination, while Intramuros reclaimed its title as the continent's prime tourist attraction. How is the tourism and travel industry preparing to reap the benefits of these citations? Let's now have an exchange with Tourism Promotions Board Officer in Charge, Charles Ames Bautista. Charles, thank you so much for joining us and congratulations on the recognitions being reaped by the country for our tourism destinations. But Secretary Frasco said that the tourism sector's share to the country's GDP will return to pre-pandemic levels only in 2025. Why will it take that long?
Thank you, Rico. For our estimates in terms of where we're headed at, we are looking at 2025 as the target in terms of our tourism recovery. We have a long way to go because of several factors. There's travel confidence for one. A lot of people are still not confident to travel outside of their country. So even if our borders are open, it's really encouraging them to travel more. The second is the closure in some of our source markets. A lot of other countries are still closed in terms of their outbound passengers. And those things are really very important for us to also communicate with them in terms of making sure that when their borders open, we're top of mind.
Right. These recognitions that the country is reaping from global awards, will this benefit our tourism sector? Will this add numbers? Will this also give more for our tourism workers who lost their jobs during the pandemic get back their jobs?
Definitely, Rico. We are seeing that because of these recognitions, we are becoming top of mind in terms of being a dive destination. And also because of our heritage sites, a lot of people now are traveling to find more exposure into different cultures, learning about history, and them seeing how we take care of our heritage sites will definitely impact the interest of these tourists to visit, especially sites like Intramuros.
All right. Of course, the bottom line is we'll have to see these numbers and the tourism data for at the end of the year. What are the tourist targets for 2022, Charles?
For 2022, we're targeting 1.7 million tourist arrivals. We're proud to share that as of August, we've already hit 1.3 million. I know it's not a lot, but considering that when we opened our borders, we were welcoming around 20,000 tourists. This is a welcome development that we're already at 1.3 million at this point in time.
All right. We still have 4 months to go to overcome that target of the tourism department. But what challenges are being faced by the sector aside from the health crisis? Is the falling peso against the US dollar, rising interest rates, higher cost of travel also an issue for the tourism industry?
I think there are several factors. And as you mentioned, it's really the rising cost of travel. We've already heard comments on accessibility as well. That is why the Department of Tourism, with the leadership of Secretary Frasco, has made sure that infrastructure development is really part of our 7-point agenda and really making our tourist destination more accessible both for international and domestic travelers. And I think another factor that we are seeing as a major challenge is really the health and safety protocols in other countries, because while ours are very streamlined already in such a way that there are no quarantine procedures, a lot of travelers still do not have the time to quarantine themselves for a week before coming into the Philippines because of their own restrictions. And then when they go back to their own country, it's the same number of quarantine protocols that they need to experience.
That's
so
right.
It's really about creating an international dialogue and streamlining this travel experience.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
For our international travelers.
What are the trends right now? Who's driving demand, Charles? Local or foreign tourists?
Well, we're equally seeing a lot of increase in the demand both in domestic and international tourists. More so, our inbound is still predominantly our balikbayans coming to visit their relatives, or second or third generation Filipinos looking to experience their heritage here in the Philippines. Domestically, we're seeing that there is a lot of interest for urbanites to visit provinces, not just in terms of visiting them in the short term, but they are looking around to see where they can relocate. Because of the whole work from home setup and remote work situation, there are a lot more millennials and Gen Z who are looking into migrating into different provinces and really building a life there.
And
those are some of the things that we are seeing.
And Charles, of course, during the summer months, we saw revenge travel. Filipinos traveling across the archipelago, also traveling overseas, also foreign tourists coming into the country. Is this being sustained? And are we likely to see a further boost during the Burr months?
Definitely, we are seeing a lot of sustained interest in the Philippines. We are continually promoting the Philippines in various international trade fairs. Our digital marketing campaigns are targeted to source markets that are already open and have already brought in a lot of tourists into the country, especially this Burr months, where we're seeing a lot of interest in colder weather markets, and they are interested in experiencing the beauty of our beaches and our tropical climate. And also, we are seeing a lot of interest in the domestic market in visiting more hidden gems in the country. So there's a lot of interest in Cagayan Valley, Romblon, Camiguin, and these are some of the destinations that weren't necessarily sort of the top of mind when you go to beaches or hidden gems. So we're really excited for these new destinations to really start picking up more tourists.
Thank you so much, Charles, for this Tourism Outlook Exchange. Tourism Promotions Board's Charles Ames Bautista. And now here's a rundown of this week's top business stories. The pace of increase in consumer prices hit 6.3% in August, just slightly slower than the 6.4% in July. E-wallet GCash launches a new security feature that hides some of the letters of the recipient's first name during transactions. It's part of efforts against the proliferation of tech scams that have become personalized. And tech giant Apple unveils new products, including the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus, with a larger screen, longer battery life, and improved camera features. The starting prices of the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus are the same as last year's models. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. Is it more fun and safe in the Philippines? We get the insights of a travel agency and a hotel association, how the tourism experience has changed since borders reopened. And are you among those still hoping to fly again? We get an update on how the airline industry is emerging from the turbulence with AirAsia CEO Rico Hizon. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Glad you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. The country welcomed more than 1 million foreign tourists in the first half of the year since it reopened borders in February. How has the tourism landscape changed since then? Let's now have an exchange with Philippine Travel Agencies Association's J.R. Formiliesa and Hotel Sales and Marketing Association Director of Public Relations, Carmela Bocanegra, who is also Vice President for Sales and Marketing at Chroma Hospitality. Thank you both for joining us on the program. JR, let me start off with you. Are travel agency sales back to pre-pandemic levels?
Well, thankfully, sir, no, our travel sales has gone up already. A lot of tourists are now going to our offices to book. There are a lot of clients who wants to travel both internationally and domestic. I think this is already what we call the revenge travel.
This is really very encouraging. But the travel agencies, JR, that closed during the height of the pandemic, are they operational once again?
Well, I think with the records with the Philippine Travel Agencies Association, most of the travel agencies actually, they did not close. Well, some of the travel agencies, they were only able to open for a short period of time because of the continuous lockdown during the last 2 years. But most of the travel agencies right now, they're actually open and they are really ready to accept bookings from different clients. It may be students, professionals, and even balikbayans who are coming back to the Philippines to spend their vacation. So yes, we are open.
Back in business and open for business. That's good news, JR. Carmela,
that's correct.
On your end, are many hotels back to full occupancy?
Yes, hi Rico. Yeah, I think the hotels never really stopped, even during the pandemic, because we also serve the quarantine business. But now that travel is open, yes, hotels are in full blast. We have a lot of things happening. The occupancies have been increasing already, but most of it is really more for domestic since the start of the year.
And the association has a September sale. How is the take-up so far of rooms?
Yes, we have the September online sale happening now until the end of the month. And it's been very brisk, Rico. The sales have been very, very encouraging. As of the first week, we already generated over 10 million worth of voucher sales. And this is about 50% growth from last year's September online sale. Remember, we were also in your show, I think, when we promoted last year's September online sale. So it's very brisk. This is our third year for SOS. And our theme this year is Eat, Stay, and Love. So voucher sales from room accommodations from our hotels and resorts, food and beverage offerings, and also even banquets and wedding packages. You can find them in our app, in our HSMA website.
All right. So demand is definitely brisk compared to last year. But what kind of discounts can tourists avail of from the SOS sale?
Various discounts some hotels are giving as much as 60% off. And then others are putting up some value adds. So it's a little bit different from last year because this year there's more new packages. There's a lot of creativity. We even have like a escape and elope package in Crimson Boracay. So it's something new. It's something new things we want to offer our guests, who we have missed for quite some time in our hotels and the resorts. So they can just go to the site and there's 78 participating hotels.
Wow,
so
that's a lot of hotels.
In the website.
That's a lot of hotels,
Yes.
Carmela. JR, on your end, who is driving demand? Who's booking air tickets, hotel accommodations? Are they local tourists or foreign tourists?
Well, Rico, from the travel agencies, as I experienced personally in my travel agency, there are locals who are really wishes to travel because during last year when we had our lockdown and nobody is allowed to go out, and currently then since lockdown was lifted already, and then the restriction has been lifted, a lot of locals are planning and a lot of locals are booking their travels with different travel agencies, which are members of the PTAA. As I can see, we have a lot of clients who have booked going to Boracay, going to Romblon, going to Capiz, even in Iloilo City. And also, when it comes to international arrivals, since the border opened since February of this year, I think we have reached already 1 million arrivals, and it is increasing daily. So I believe that this is already the start of a new travel. And as we can say, it's really a revenge travel because a lot of tourists, locals and internationals, are going on and visiting different places in the country.
And Carmela, what is your outlook for the hotel industry for 2022? Will it be much better than 2021?
Yes, definitely much better. We're very bullish about this year. I mean, the numbers are showing already, although it's not yet the same as the normal years of 2019, but it's very encouraging, and even for 2023 and onwards, very encouraging. Right now, it's all domestic driven, really, for our hotels and resorts. But we are also seeing some Koreans already trickling in Boracay and in Clark and in Cebu. And then I think as per Department of Tourism arrivals, Americans are ranking first in terms of numbers. USA, Korea, and Australia.
Yeah.
So very encouraging, and so we're very excited also.
Very exciting. And of course, we have also won numerous awards in world travel destinations. We've gained so much recognition, JR. But how can we further promote the Philippines in other parts of the world?
Well, in terms of promotion, the Philippine Travel Agencies Association, together with each members, we're actually doing a lot of travel fairs, travel expos. Actually, this year we staged the 29th edition of the Philippine Travel Agencies Association Travel Tour Expo, an international travel trade expo, and it has generated a lot of foot traffic. And for next year, on February 2023, we're going to have our 30th anniversary, which is our Pearl anniversary, and we are looking forward to invite more tour operators from different countries, different parts of the world, as well as exhibitors from different tourism stakeholders here and abroad. And we are really looking forward in promoting the Philippines to other countries and to show them that the Philippines is now ready to accept them. Of course, hotels are there to support us. Airlines are there to support us. Tour guides are there to support us. And this is always a joint effort with different stakeholders. And we are very much looking forward to this in the years to come.
The Philippine tourism industry is indeed vibrant. Thank you so much for this tourism demand exchange. Philippine Travel Agencies Association's J.R. Formiliesa and Hotel Sales and Marketing Association Director of Public Relations, Carmela Bocanegra. And still ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. Airlines are revving up for takeoff with a possible tourism boost in the so-called Burr months. We speak to AirAsia about how it is making services more accessible and airfares cheaper. This is CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Welcome back right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. An aviation group expects to fully recover by next year. What must be done to improve demand and make air travel more affordable? To our adventure-seeking kababayans, let's now have an exchange with AirAsia CEO, Ricky Isla. Ricky, thank you so much for joining us. Are flight operations of AirAsia back in full force?
Yes, good news, Rico. Good afternoon to to the viewers of CNN Exchange. We're back, and as a matter of fact, do you know that June, July, August, Air Asia is already 80% of 2019 levels for domestic. And domestic, okay, because international will follow towards December, fourth quarter, we will be achieving 40%. And not only that, our load factors are good, Rico, 90 to 95%. And so far, so good.
So far, I mean, that's really great news, no? I mean, recovering from the devastating impact of the COVID-19 crisis from March 2020. And you've also had special promos, Ricky, to bring back tourists. What has been the response? Are you having more of these in the Burr months?
Yes, you know, Rico, based on the latest stats from January to June, right, 2022, there's already a total of 722,000 foreign nationals inbound Philippines, okay? And there's also a total of 1.4 million Filipinos, okay, this time traveling outside of the country, outbound Manila, outbound Philippines. But this is the big news, 1.3 million from January to June, Filipinos who already entered Philippines. So the traffic is really getting faster and faster. Yes, I think the path to recovery is getting faster. And more importantly, I think we have to make sure that all airlines are ready for the international market. I'm very confident, we're all confident, Air Carriers Association of the Philippines are very confident with domestic. Now what we're building up is international. We just recently opened the likes of Bangkok, Bali, Singapore, Incheon, Seoul, and these are the ones that will bring in hopefully more tourists to the Philippines.
Well, that's vibrant news for the Philippine aviation sector, Ricky. But how can you keep up with these special fares? Because apart from overcoming the health crisis challenges, there's also the higher cost of fuel and the falling price of the peso.
You know, this month of September, effective September 1, the fuel surcharge already went down from August of level 12. It's now down to level 9. So because of that, okay, what will happen is more Filipino tourists, more international tourists will be able to maximize this reduction of fuel surcharge, which is padded to their base fare. Just a classic example is, let's say, Manila-Boracay, which is the fastest, the shortest trip. Last September, the fuel surcharge is 410 pesos per passenger. Now, September is 410 coming from 555 last August. So that's an incentive. However, on our part, we make sure we as a low-cost carrier also maintain a lot of promotions with regards to pricing. Frankly speaking, you know, Rico, the average fare right now is still lower than the 2019 levels. So come December, there's going to be a peak. Okay, so most likely that is where we start implementing some higher fares already.
All right, from this...
still manageable.
Absolutely manageable. And from these numbers and data that you just revealed to us, the airfares are really very affordable for our kababayans. Let's listen now to the travel wish list, Ricky, of our kababayans.
Gusto ko po sana sa ibang bansa makapag-travel. Gaya ng Japan. Kasi pangarap ko makapunta sa Japan talaga.
Sa ibang bansa po, Korea po talaga.
Sa akin po, ang gusto ko dun sa Amerika.
Dubai din.
A lot of our kababayans, Ricky, want to travel overseas, Japan, Korea, Dubai, the United States. Where are the top travel destinations right now for AirAsia Philippines?
We are about to achieve or open up to about 10 cities already. But right now, we fly more frequent to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Incheon. Those are just the cities. But another exciting part of ASEAN is Bali. A lot of vacationistas already going to Bali. So the basic top ones are mostly still the ASEAN market. On the other hand, we will be also opening further cities or further distance cities. Like, for example, Osaka is coming in this month of November. Hopefully, we can open it in October. And we might also launch very soon, aside from Incheon, Korea, we will also open Busan. So that's actually the based on our survey, which are the most attractive international destinations. But for domestic destinations, obviously, it's still Boracay. As a matter of fact, January to June, it's almost about 850 people who already went to Boracay, January to June. And you can just imagine by now, most likely it has already surpassed the 1 million mark. And remember, as I mentioned earlier, that November, December, since Filipinos were not able to visit Manila, we expect a huge inbound Manila coming from the international market, mostly from the balikbayans. And we're actually preparing for that. And we're doing a lot of retraining, recruitment, and as a matter of fact, we have already put back a lot of our employees who were part of our programs before, which regard to hibernation and others. And they're back, and we're doing a lot of retraining for them so that we are prepared not only in terms of aircraft, but manpower, and more especially, we will be prepared that will open us more flights in the market.
Really exciting times for the aviation industry in the Philippines. Ricky, thank you so much for this air travel exchange.
Thank you, Rico.
Air Asia Philippines CEO, Ricky Isla. And before we go, here's an Intramuros official on how the historical walled city and Asia's top tourist attraction for 2022 stands the test of time.
The biggest difference is that before there was this focus on Intramuros as a living museum, but right now we've moved beyond that, because right now we focus on Intramuros as a living heritage community that is breathing and that is revitalized. I think that's the beauty of Intramuros, no? That it is always unchanging, yet it is always timeless.
Congratulations to Intramuros. And this is the exchange. We make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle, because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use. News you can trust.